There's the cauldron beneath the moon, wisps of smoke hum a ghostly tune.
Evening or morning or whatever it is where you're at. I'm not sure what time of day it is anymore. I am D.E. Riley, the wise man, and this beautiful lady next to me is
Tonya Steinborn, the witch.
the witch, Tonya Steinborn. Tonya, welcome back. Episode number 2 is now officially underway.
Yes.
And we are going to delve into some, I think, very, again, controversial stuff tonight. You want to tell them about what we're going to be talking about?
Well, today we are talking about walking between worlds, living a magical life in a modern world. So we're going to be exploring how witches, mystics, and wise souls navigate spirituality while paying bills, raising kids, aging, loving, and surviving capitalism without losing our magic.
And
That's pertinent.
that was that well done, all in one breath, too. Yeah, and you know the thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is that walking between worlds, it's not to escape reality, but it's to inhabit it more fully as witches, as wise men, as mystics. And you know, a lot of people think, oh, you gotta, you know, you really want to live a magical life and live a spiritual life, you got to go live in a cave with a goat or join a monastery and stuff like that. And that's just not it at all. That's just not it.
Well, I mean, that'd be the easier route, you know. Like, I definitely think being in the world and not of the world is a lot more challenging because we have to constantly dip into the 3D world of, you know, like the introduction said, paying bills and all the rest of it, and still navigating our own spiritual path and keeping our magic.
Yeah, and you know, it does get difficult. It you know, you there's always that damn clock on the wall, that time factor of I don't have enough time to do this, I don't have enough time to do that. You know, I need to meditate, but I got kids I got to take care of. I got to cook dinner. I've got, you know, sick baby, whatever. But the thing that people don't realize is that it's always been like that since the beginning of time. The witches, the mystics, the wise people have had to pay taxes to kings, have had to plow fields, have had to, you know, do regular jobs just like anybody else to get by. They had to just learn how to incorporate all of that, and that in and of itself is magic. You know, just being able to get by in the world, to me, is a very magical thing.
Yeah, well, I think, I do think going back farther, there was a time when we could have been like the wise woman, the medicine woman in the village, that was our role, right? Like that was our role, and we didn't have, that was our job, basically, and we were respected for that. And, you know, the village would have taken care of us, would have taken care of feeding us, would have taken care of our physical needs, so that we could have really sunk in to our path, our practice, offering medicine, healing, wisdom to our village. But then, you know, as you said, things moved on, and then it's us trying to navigate that in a world where we have to pay taxes and we have to, you know, do all these things. And I think it has increasingly gotten more difficult for people to continue their practice, their, you know, exploring their gifts while we're trying to, like, you know, if you watch Harry Potter, live a muggle life,
Right.
sort of thing, right?
Sure let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, okay? You're a mom. Now, just like me, all your kids are grown and gone and all that kind of stuff. But they weren't always grown and gone. How did you work in your practice with the kids, and especially when, okay, you don't have personal time to meditate because there's always a kid going to be wanting a snack or to change the TV or something, a toy they can't
Yeah.
find, or you know, um, your sticky fingers all over your altars, messing stuff up, that they want to play with. And,
Yeah.
how did you juggle that?
Well,
Give us some secret tips.
well, I think honestly, it really comes down to authenticity and really owning who you are and not trying to be like the other moms. Like I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine today, actually, on the topic of, my kids. I've always, this has been my life, right? Like my kids grew up with me. I have a healing practice. I'm a naturopath, but I do, a Reiki master. I do healing. I go away on the weekends to a Celtic shamanism workshop or some other healing modality or being trained in another modality. So they were very aware that this is how mom is, because that's what I needed to do for me to be the best version of myself and to constantly keep working on myself and keep working on my craft and to be a better version of me. I had to really make it a priority that this is what I need as a woman. This is what I need to do as my calling in life.
Mm-hmm.
So they were very aware of that. And I mean, it wasn't always palatable. It wasn't always cool, right? Because there were lots of times where it was like, you're not like the other moms. Like, why aren't you like the other moms,
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, you wouldn't want me to be the other moms, because then I would be denying who I am.
Right.
And so by denying who I am and not fulfilling my own calling and needs, I would become a very watered down version of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And especially raising daughters, I have 3 daughters, it was really important for me that I represented that a woman needs to take care of herself, that a woman has her own needs and priorities,
Mm-hmm.
to be happy and to be fulfilled. And that if she doesn't fill her own cup, she has nothing left to give anybody else. So
Very
that's,
well said.
yeah, that's kind of what was really important to me throughout being a mom and single mom, raising my kids, is, mom's away at a Celtic shamanism workshop. She'll be back in 3 days.
Yeah, that is a little different. And I mean, even today, it's like,
Yeah.
my kids are grown. My youngest daughter is 45 years old, and it's funny because she'll be talking, and her and I, both my daughters, I have great relationships with them, love them to death. They got me right here,
Of course.
Yeah, and they always will. They're my baby girls. But it's funny even today because it's like they'll be talking about me to their friends and their coworkers. And they'll be, oh yeah, oh my dad does a podcast, and oh, what about? Oh, it's not him.
Yeah. Oh,
And I'm like, you don't have to be ashamed of it, sweetheart. You can tell them,
Yeah. Yeah.
But she goes, Daddy, it just doesn't feel right. My dad's kind of like a witch, But you have to find that truth, that inner truth,
Yeah.
that balance,
Yeah.
and that's so hard to do because people are so broken. It seems like these days and you just experienced what I'm talking about firsthand. And I just went through it last night, believe it or not, about how, people are very, very quick to try and break you, whether they
Yes.
realize that they're doing that or not.
Yeah.
They try to get in. They try to break that spiritual connection that you have with yourself. Because you have to have
Yeah.
yourself. You have to be able to talk to yourself and look within yourself and see, the light. And it's just, even like last night I was sitting there going, I don't even know this person. Why are they attacking me? But they. Don't know me at all. Yet
Because
they're
it's not
making
a,
this,
it's
they're
not.
passing this judgment on me, and I'm about to get hung for nothing more than opinion.
But that is because it's not about you. You're reflecting the fact that they don't know their own light. You're reflecting the fact that they're not following their own path, that they're not being authentic. So when you show up in authenticity and truth and being unapologetic about it, it pisses people off. It pisses the people off who don't have the courage to live their truth, that don't even know what their truth is, honestly. I
No,
think that's
no.
a big problem. They don't even know what their calling is. They've identified themselves as roles. Like I identify myself as, I'm the, director of the blah, blah, blah corporation, and I'm a mother, and they've identified themselves with a role, and they don't actually know who they are.
Right, right.
And so when you come into their awareness and you're like, here I am, I know what I am, I know what I'm to be doing, and I'm living my truth authentically, unfiltered, and unapologetic. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Like it will instantly irritate people
It,
who are not authentic, who are not following their path, who don't
right.
even know who the fuck they are,
It, it,
actually.
it's it to coin an old myth. It's like throwing holy water at a vampire.
Yeah.
They just can't handle it. They don't
Yeah.
know. And you're right. I mean, they don't know themselves. They don't
Yeah.
know their inner person. And I think we're getting more and more away from that as a civilization. People are getting lost, and
Yeah.
they find it so much easier just to be an asshole than it is to not.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's too much work for them to be nice.
Yeah.
And it's all here because it's like you're going through revelations in your life right now. I mean,
Yeah.
I see that every day, and I'm proud of you. I mean, and the latest music video, the Blue Flame, that's you. That was about you. The whole
Oh,
thing was about you. You've gone through, you've risen up, you have become reborn, and you're free finally.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I think that there is just such a box that people have built around themselves. It's
Yeah.
like, you know, nobody wants to. I don't even want to go in public anymore because of the conflict. It just everyday life. It is ridiculous. It really is. You have to again find that fire in you. You have to nurture that flame in you to
Yeah.
become a bigger and better person. And I find a lot of times I don't lose my temper like I used to. Back in
Yeah.
my younger days when I was quite the fool. Um, I don't have all that pent up anger and emotion because now I've looked here and I found here and you know it's such a more filling feeling. I don't know how else to put it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just you just feel whole and grounded and a part of everything. And,
Yeah.
and and you look at people that are losing their shit, and I'm going, I don't get it. These people are so lost, and now it's apparently become fashion, you know. But
What's become fashion?
being an ass, You know,
Oh, jeez.
it's just become a fashion now. It's become unfortunately, all about clicks and views, and nothing about humanity.
Substance.
And
Substance.
yeah, and it's it's just it gets in your head so much that you have to take that time to step back and to center yourself and learn to deal with that, and like we said, with kids, with earning a living, with juggling life
Yeah.
as it is, and still find you and hold on to you and be true to you. And I think once you find that inner peace, your world starts changing. It
Yeah.
did for me. It did
Yeah.
for me with my kids, with my, relationships with people, with my friends. Um, Things really changed, noticeably changed, and it was so amazing. Um, and you start meeting people of like mind, just
Yeah.
out of the blue, like you and I met out of the
Yeah.
blue, just
Yeah.
boom. And and I don't know. I guess it's like a magnetism. You
It
start
is.
attracting these people.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
all energy. It's all exactly magnetism. And um, and sometimes like, and I would challenge people who are in a situation like you said last night where they're being attacked just for being who they are is I just feel bad for these people. I really do. It's like
Yeah.
how sad to go through, and with, situations in my own life the last couple of years. It's like I feel bad for these people that they they don't even know who they are. I've always had a sense of myself. Like I've always had a sense and this core of who I am, what I'm to be doing, how I would do it, how I executed things. That's been more of a challenge. But I've always known on a soul level, like I am love, I am kindness, and the world has really tried to beat that out of me, but it can't. You can't.
Hmm. Hmm.
You can't beat that out of me.
No.
I can't be anything other than who I am, and I am a good person, and I have a huge heart, and I am spreading light everywhere I go, and I'll continue to do that no matter what happens. That's it, every time I get knocked down by somebody or something, I rise, and I am a better and better and better version.
Hmm.
So that's I look at these people who have no sense of self, and they try to tear other people down as a way as if they could take that from you. You can't
Right.
take that from another
No.
human.
Mm-mm.
You can't. All you've done is diminish yourself more.
No.
So I actually have a lot of pity, and like I feel bad for people who don't have that core sense of self,
Hmm.
and don't have that higher connection to purpose, and who don't live in a magical world.
Right.
Like when you came to visit and all these magical things, I'm like, this is just how life is. It's like
Yeah.
magic. Everything is magic when you start really being authentic and in alignment with spirit and being open. Just the crazy things that just constantly
Yeah.
happen. That's just becomes your normal. Like how boring if that wasn't your reality.
Right. Right. And I mean, it was. I think the thing that I took away most from my visit with you was how much happened in like one fucking day. It was we were just getting beat up from breakfast till we went to bed that night with stuff. Just
Yeah,
incredible things happening right
yeah,
before our eyes. That had,
yeah,
there was no other way to put it but magic. That's all there was to it. And it
yeah,
was just, I'm freaking 70 years old and I'm laying in there in bed that night giggling like a little girl. Going, that was so cool.
yeah, yeah.
But it was absolutely amazing. But there are a number of people that come to me asking for my advice, asking for my opinion, asking me, how do I cope? I can't take this anymore. What do I do? How do I do this? And I always start the same way. The first thing you have to do is breathe. Learn to breathe. And you people out there that are listening to this, take this as advice. Because when shit starts hitting the fan, the first thing you do is stop breathing. Your breathing becomes erratic, and you get nervous, and you get agitated, and you get anxious. Stop, sit down, and breathe. Control your breathing. You know,
Yeah.
in through the nose, out through the mouth. Control your breathing. You'll feel yourself starting to calm at that point.
Yeah.
Things will start calming down. You know, that's the first thing. Step number 2, learn to meditate. It's not hard to do. It really isn't, but it takes you out of that hostile place you're in and finds that peaceful place inside you where you can just relax just for a few minutes a day. Just, you know, people say, you know, you just got to chill out. There is no other way to chill out than meditation,
Yeah.
because that's what does it right there. And I, you know, every day I'll take a few minutes and just sit down, breathe, get inside myself, and just relax, and you'll feel so much better. You'll start noticing your world is starting to change, you know,
Yeah.
a little bit at a time, but for God's sake, breathe.
Well, when people say, "Well, I don't have time to meditate," I'm like, well, if you say you don't have time to meditate, that means you need to meditate even more.
Mm.
And it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be. I think there's a big misconception about meditation, right? Like people think that, well, I have to sit, cross-legged for 40 minutes and I have to purge my mind of all the thoughts. And it's like, that doesn't have to be the way you slow down and connect and meditate. Meditate can be 10 minutes before you go to bed. It's just, you're checking in with your body, you're seeing where you're holding stress, it's really about, it helps you become a detached observer, which when these things are happening, being a detached observer to these events in your life is life changing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't get pulled into these kind of debates. You don't get pulled into these like mundane situations as much, because you're not allowing your emotions to get triggered and to grasp onto the feelings of things and the trauma of things. You're kind of taking yourself above it and witnessing it more.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be really life changing too. Just and really, I think along with this topic of like, how do you navigate this, mundane 3D world of having this flesh puppet and having to have a house and pay bills and feed it and take care of people, is like really just start to play with it, start to have fun with it. Like, that's been such a game changer for me too, is just start to play with it and look at it as like, well, what lesson do I need to take out of this? Or just say, you know what, I'm good.
Right.
That's where my whole thing for 2026 is like, I'm good for lessons, universe.
Yeah.
God's source, universe. I'm ready to play. I'm ready to have fun. I'm ready to have joy. I've spent a lifetime going through these really deep, healing, traumatic things and then overcoming. It's time to play.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to play with the universe, and I want to play with things I haven't experienced, which
Right.
is like a lot more financial abundance, a lot more visibility, really, really taking time to focus on me, because like you said, I've been raising kids. My youngest daughter just moved out, like, what is it, January almost? Like 3 months ago in October. I'm in a totally different place in my life now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So now this phase of my life is about all that energy I poured into other humans. You start to pour into yourself.
Right.
And so this is the time in my life where my spiritual path is going to be really clear. My priorities are going to be what I'm here to do,
Right.
and who I'm to impact along that way in a positive way. So it's really life phases too, and I know we'll be talking about that in other podcasts, more about the phases of life and whatnot. But yeah, just try not to get triggered as much with the smaller stuff, because at the end of the day, like, you're here for your experience. Your soul is here having a human experience. Your soul's not here to answer to all these people. You are answering to your own mission, your soul's calling, right? So I always check into that. Like, that's my anchor.
Right.
Is like, is this serving my soul purpose? No, it's not. That was a distraction.
No.
It's time to get back up and get on the right path.
Exactly. And I mean, everybody goes through stuff.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. You're gonna go through stuff. My family just went through a bunch of stuff, and they're like, aren't you worried about this? Aren't you worried about you? No, I don't let worry into my life. Okay, there's no place for it. There's a and I think I've told you this before. There's a Buddhist saying that regardless of whether you worry about something for 2 seconds or 2,000 years, it's never going to change the outcome. Never, and it doesn't. All worry does is make you sick. That's all it does.
Yeah.
Learn to not worry. Learn to start thinking in a positive manner. Start manifesting what you want in that positive light. Start seeing it and living like it's already done. And guess what? Everything turned out okay. After all of that bullshit, and people looking at me going, you're crazy. How can this not bother you 24 hours a day? I don't let it. There's no reason for it. I don't want to make myself sick. How is it that a 70-year-old man is as young as you are? Because I don't get that stuff in my life. I don't allow it.
Yeah.
I work off a positive path.
Yeah. And worry is prayer in the wrong direction. Like, when you're worrying about something, you're putting that energy into the negative outcome you're worrying about. You're literally making it worse.
Right.
And you're not ever going to manifest anything positive in your life. Worry, if you really think about it, you're worrying about two things. One of two things. You're worrying about the past, so you're looking in the rearview mirror at the past, or you're worrying about the future. So neither one of those scenarios, you're present in the moment.
Right.
So that's the other big thing, is it doesn't do you any good. Makes you sick, like you said, and you the past has happened. You can't change that. And the future, there's so many infinite possibilities of the future. Right? So yeah, it's a wasted energy, that's for sure.
So, and that's another thing along those lines that I share with other people is you have to learn to not worry. Well, don't you worry about your kids? Don't you worry about no. Am I concerned? Yes, there's a difference.
There is, yeah.
Big difference. I am concerned about my kids. I'm concerned about my family. I'm concerned about my pets. But I don't dwell. When you dwell and become obsessed, then it becomes worry.
Yeah.
And then that is what eats you from the inside. So there's another tip for you from the amazing world of Dave.
From the wise man. From the wise man. This is why we call him the wise man.
That you have to connect within your life is that inner self, that positivity. That's what makes your light shine. And people will notice it. They notice it.
They do. Yeah.
Every day, especially with me. So it's just that thing that I don't worry about growing up and growing old. I don't worry. I just don't. And it is such a freeing feeling when you
Yeah.
get rid of that useless emotion, and that's all it is a useless emotion. Just makes you sick. Get rid of it, and teach yourself not to worry. Best advice I can give.
Yeah. And I think, like people will say, well, how do I do that? How do I do that? And it's really about starting to pay attention to your feelings, right? Like, so if you're starting to feel all of a sudden anxious or you're feeling like uncomfortable or you're feeling heavy, really just stop yourself for a moment and go like, whoa, what am I thinking about right now? And then you'll check in and you'll be like, oh God, I'm sitting here remembering this bad event that happened to me 10 years ago, and now it's got me all worked up. Well, what has that served?
Mm-hmm.
Like you've been through that experience. If you're still holding that trauma, if you're still holding some of that imprint, there's a lot of things you can do to release that through the body, like trauma release exercises or somatic work or like tapping. There's all these things that you can do that will actually help you release that from your physical body. But at the end of the day, every time we think about those things on a physiological level, on a brainwave state, all of that, we are actually reliving it over and over and over again. And that's where that sickness and that illness and that dis-ease and disharmony comes in, because when we think about these things, we are reliving it over and over and over again.
And it's like you said a few minutes ago. The past is the past. You can't change it.
Yeah.
It's done.
Doesn't exist.
Worry about something that happened in the past is I don't know. That concept just doesn't ever sit with me. Never has. It's I keep I tell people often, keep putting one foot in front of the other and go forward. Don't look back, because you ain't going in that direction. Go forward. That's where your focus needs to be. You can't change the past. Don't worry about the past. That's over your shoulder. Just keep moving forward. And it really is the only way to get it. You got to leave the past alone. If I dwelled on all that shit I've gone through in my past, I'd look like I was 70 years old.
Right? That's true. That's true. And really, at the end of the day, the only thing that's, I would say, useful to gather data from the past is to look at it like that detached observer, in the way of going, oh, okay, I did this and then this happened. Okay, here's some patterns. Here's some triggers. Here's some things. Like, look at it in a way of healing.
Yeah.
And recognizing, oh, well, when this happened, this is how I reacted. Okay, well, I don't want to do that again. So now I'm going to start to recognize when this happens, I'm going to pull back and go, okay, I'm not going to react the same as I did because this led to X, Y, Z, and it was not beneficial. So, like, you can learn from your past. Look at it as lessons and ways of healing, but then leave it the fuck alone.
Right.
Close that book up. Put it up in the shelf.
Right.
Doesn't mean it didn't happen. It just means you've closed the chapter, you've closed the book, you've put it on the shelf, and it can sit there now. And you don't have to keep taking that same book and opening up the same chapter and reading the same friggin' 3 lines that you have. Just close the chapter, close the book, and you can start to write your own story.
Exactly.
How you want to, right? So that's really, for me, the only useful data that you could gather from that. But don't live in it. Don't dwell in it, because it's not going to do. It's not going to help you. That's for sure.
No. And there's just too many people that do that. They cannot let things go, and go away, and you have to. Whoop, you all right?
Yeah, of course I had a black cat walk into my office just now, so
I looked up and you were gone. It was like, wow.
I disappeared into my past.
But yeah, to survive these days and spiritually, um, and magically in a world where there seems to be little to no magic left, um,
You
it's
have to create it.
you have to, you have to, and I think that's why there's, quite honestly, there's such a resurgence in witchcraft and magic,
Yeah,
because people are starting to learn that other things aren't working,
yeah,
and they want to go back to the old ways. They want to go back to the paganism, to worshiping, the planet, the sky, the animals, the things that matter,
the
the
things
things
that
that make
matter.
us, um, and just find the main thing is find your peace, find yourself, um, because there's a lot of lost people walking around right now that
Yeah,
they don't know who they are, or they just are zombies, walking around, and they're on full attack mode all the time.
yeah, with no purpose, no passion. No purpose, no passion, no spice, no zest. And it's
Mhm.
becomes a very boring existence. And those are those people that attack you, right? Those are those people that try to tear you down.
Yeah.
Is instead of finding their own purpose, their own passion, they think that they can take yours, and that's just not how it works.
Mhm.
It doesn't work that way. But I would encourage people, to just start to bring in magic in their everyday life. That you can make things as simple as cleaning your house a magical experience. Like clean your house with some magical herbs for protection. Start doing these regular things and put a little spice into it, put a little bit of magic into it. It can be very simple,
Mhm.
especially to start out with. Things that will remind you. Put an altar. Put something special. Put some flowers and a couple. For me, I'm very connected to working with the divine feminine goddesses. So have some goddess figurines with some flowers and some crystals, or things that you feel drawn to. So having these things around the home can be a visual reminder. Oh yeah, there's magic. There's magic. There's
Yeah.
spirit. So sometimes it's hard when people get stuck, because you get really weighted down by responsibilities of life,
Mhm.
of raising children, of fixing your home up, of all the things, jobs, etc. But if you can start to bring magic into your life and be open to receiving messages. That's a huge one. People are so closed off because they're so busy scrolling, and they're so busy just reliving all these things, that it's like you're missing all the magic
Mhm.
that I guarantee is all around you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you're not open to experience it because you're distracting yourself with
Right.
mundane crap.
Your nose is in that, and it's not looking at all the wonderful, incredible, things happening around you. And I, th- I think there's a lot of people that just don't recognize a lot of these simple little signs, these simple little gifts that the universe gives you. Um, they
Yeah,
don't realize that's what they are. It's just a everyday blah blah blah, and
yeah,
it's I got a squirrel sitting out here in the tree looking at me. Um, Things like that,
yeah,
that there's just little things like the what was it, the hawk, that led us all the way
yeah,
down to the beach, that day.
yeah,
That was just incredible. Um,
yeah,
People don't realize that these things are gifts from the universe to you. Hold them dear, cherish them. Talk about them with other people,
yeah,
and watch how good it makes you feel to talk about that,
yeah,
because it does. You'll light up. when you start sharing these magical experiences of just everyday life that the universe is giving you.
Yeah.
And like I said, you'll feel so much better about yourself. And that's the whole key. That's the whole key of getting along in this world is recognizing, as we said before, recognizing the magic around you.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, and it's so important to, like I feel like people are just so they're just so one track mind. They're so like conditioned
mhm,
to live a certain way, to accept societal norms, and to, well, as a mother, as a woman, this is how you're supposed to behave. This is what you're supposed to do. And it's like, but it's not working.
mhm.
It's not working. So ask yourself those questions like, how am I like carrying on my life based on expectations from society, from family, from whatever, from religion? Am I this role because I'm choosing it, because it makes me feel good? Or am I doing this because it's what I think I'm supposed to be doing?
Or what society has told you you should be doing.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
there's everybody, I can't say everybody, almost everybody is put into a mold or finds themselves in a mold of how they should be, how they
Yeah.
should conduct their life, how they
How they
should,
should.
you know, go from day to day to day. And it's just not, it's not true. It's a lie. It's a huge lie.
It is. It's a lie to keep us small. A lot of those societal norms and those expectations and those roles that we're supposed to fit into a certain way, look a certain way, act a certain way, they are conditions, they are old programming that's about keeping us small and keeping
Hmm.
us away from our light.
Right. Right. Exactly. And, get out of the box. Don't be normal.
That's right. Normal's boring.
Normal is boring. Oh, what was that? What was that? Doggone, what was that quote you had that time about?
Oh, don't be scared to be weird or
Yeah,
something
don't be
like
scared to
that.
be weird. I love that. I
Yeah.
absolutely, you would think I could remember that because I'm such a big fan of it.
I'll have to make some t-shirts.
Yeah, no kidding.
Don't be scared to be weird by the Winter Office.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to, again, guys, you have to find your center. You have to find yourself. Magic is there. Magic will happen. Recognize it. Even the little things. Recognize it and appreciate it. And the more, once you start that, you'll start seeing it more and more and more and more often. And it will
Yeah.
start appearing around you, and your whole world will change. You'll
Yeah.
see it literally in a completely different light. And you'll start manifesting things in your life. You'll start feeling better about yourself. You'll start feeling better about others. You'll start
Yeah.
finding a peace and a kindness that you've never experienced before. Never. And it doesn't mean you go around throwing daisies and all
Oh,
that
good.
bullshit. Well, you could. If you're into throwing daisies, and by all means, throw daisies.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it makes you feel good, do it. But
Yeah.
you will just find a new you just waiting to get out, just waiting to explore a new universe that lights up.
Yeah.
All of a sudden has a glow like you've never seen before. I can say this because I went through it. I was a shit person years ago. I really was. I was everything bad I've talked about so far was me, a few
Oh,
years ago. But I was able to turn myself around. And
How? Like, what was your trigger? What was your moment? What was the catalyst to
I
that?
knew that I could not go on bottling up the fury and the rage that I felt for nothing. I just, was anxious all the time. I did not like anybody. I didn't like life. I could care less if I lived or died. Didn't matter to me. I
Wow.
was just a sour person. I was just buried in so much of me, that there was no
Yeah.
light at the end of the tunnel. And what got me out of it, and if you go way back, now I'm talking about going back in history, go way back to the beginning of this episode when we talk about being a hermit and living in a cave with a goat. Guess
Yeah.
what I did?
Did you have a goat?
No, but I had my ex-wife and I had split up. I got this little cabin on 2 acres out in the middle of the woods with a fence all around it and nobody around me. And I sequestered myself in this little tube
Wow.
for
Yeah.
2 years. And I broke. I came completely unglued. And then
Yeah.
I started the rebuilding process again.
Yeah.
And I'm going, I don't have to be like this.
Yeah.
There's nothing There's no reason for me to be like this. And I start questioning myself. Why? Why am I like this? Why am I doing this? Why do I feel this way? And once you start talking to yourself and you get
Yeah.
that dialogue going on, all of a sudden things start breaking down. And I remember one night I just completely collapsed in on myself. And I called my sister on the phone and I'm bawling. And she's going, "What is wrong with you? What is," I said, I just died. And she goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "The old me just died."
Yeah. Your ego
And
death.
I just discovered, and I'm now being born, and it was completely overwhelming. I
Yeah.
mean, completely
Yeah.
overwhelming. I could not emotionally handle all of that, at that time, but I did. And that rebirth, that phoenix rising from the ashes was exactly what was going on at that time.
Yeah.
And the next day, I walked out on my porch, and it's a beautiful sunny day, and the birds are singing, and the whole world had changed. It was like
Yeah.
everything had been lifted. I was free, you know. I wasn't tied down anymore. It was just a new me. And I started looking. I started, noticing the magic, the little gifts, the little things that, you know,
Yeah.
walk out my yard and there's an owl. There's a huge owl sitting up in the tree. And I thought, God,
Wow.
I've never seen that before, you know?
Yeah.
It was just the neatest thing. And it things like that would start happening. I walked out of my bathroom one night and there was a snake on my washer and dryer outside the bathroom door. Just, like, how did you get in my house?
Chilling.
There was a huge 4 foot long snake just curled up there. I
Wow.
escorted it out the door. But it was like all of a sudden the world started giving me all these neat little gifts in it. And I started to appreciate me. I started to appreciate them, and I started to appreciate everybody around me a lot more. I mean, it
Yeah.
just changed. My whole life changed that one night. But, I had to do that. I had to get away. I had to crawl inside a box in order for that gift to open up, And and to this day, I always say that living in that little cabin out in the middle of the woods was probably the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my life. It saved my life, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, it literally saved my life and definitely changed my life absolutely for the better. And, from then on, it's just been a series of one adventure after another. And it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's fun, you know.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, you're playing with, you're having joy, you're experiencing a different reality, a different timeline.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because you had your dark night of the soul. You allowed, one of the biggest things that you can give yourself is to allow yourself to be broken down and completely decimated.
Yeah.
And to ask, that's the biggest thing, too, is ask questions. Ask, like, challenge all your beliefs. Challenge all, like, challenge, why do I believe this? And then go, I don't believe this anymore. I was told this as I was a child, that this is the way things operate.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't believe this. That's not my belief. That's a belief that was programmed into me. That's a program that was inserted into me. And I chose to believe it. So when you start actually breaking down all of these things and live as if it's a question mark. Then that's when you can start to break. That's that ego death. That's that breaking down. That's that stripping away. Because if you didn't start to ask those questions, if you didn't say, I'm willing to literally be burned to ash, this aspect of me, this ego, this personality that I've created that's so fucking miserable, that hates everything, that doesn't want to be here. If you were willing to go, I'm going to burn this shit to the ground, and it's going to be painful, it's going to be ugly, and it's going to be challenge everything I've ever known. If you're not willing to do that, then you can never, ever be reborn into something. It's being reborn to who you actually are on a soul level.
Right.
It's letting go of all that personality, all those programs, all those things you've been taught.
Yeah.
And challenging that all.
I can honestly say that figuratively speaking, I had never in my life been as naked as I was that night. I mean, it's just literally to my soul. Everything was just, I don't know. I don't know how to really put it into words accurately, and I wish I could, the feelings that I was having that night. But it was literally an ego death, a destruction. I mean, it was like a bomb going off, and I had never felt anything like that before in my life. It was like my heart was ripped out and everything was being torn apart, and and then to go through. I don't think I even slept that night, but to just go through that all of a sudden, why am I doing this? You're right. Start asking questions. Why do I feel this way? Why do I feel guilty for that? Because I was told I was supposed to feel guilty for that, but that doesn't make any sense,
No,
and then you start putting those blocks back together, and it's like you hear the expression of being born again. Literally, that's what that was. I literally was born again, and that day made me who I am today. I would never.
I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for that day.
Oh,
I'm grateful you went through that, because I like who you are today a lot.
Thank you. But yeah, I would never want to do that again. Honestly, it was terrifying, but it was necessary.
It was, yeah.
That's the whole thing in order to survive. So we're getting close to running out of time, my dear, for this episode.
Yeah.
What, in conclusion, advice, suggestions, or in closing, what would you like to say about walking magic?
With the topic of magic, like, just it is there. It's there all around us, but like, we have to be open to it. We have to be quiet. We have to be still, especially in the beginning, because our whole world is filled with noise.
Yes.
Everything is noise, and it's all distraction.
Indeed.
So it's not that there's not magic there, because I promise you there is. There's magic everywhere around you. Be open to it. Create moments of stillness. create reminders of the magic, whether it's altars, whether it's flowers, whether it's a goddess statue or whatever, you know, you're drawn to. And yeah, just start living from a magical space, and yeah, be open.
Yeah, and you know, it's there for you. It is free for the taking. It doesn't cost a dime, you know, and you will discover a person in you you never knew before. So take the time, learn to appreciate those little things. If you need more info or would like to talk to us, up on the screen is flashing our Gmail. You can find us pretty much on all social media. You can address it to either Tonya or Dave, or both. You know, either way, we will get back to you. We'd love to hear from you. But just remember, guys, it's out there. It's free for the taking, and be honest and be true to yourself and treat others with kindness, and it'll come back to you. It will. I
Yeah.
promise you it'll come back. So with that, Tonya, I thank you.
Bye.
We
Thank you.
will, yep, we will talk to you guys later on the next episode. Take care of one another. Good night.
Her laughter is shadow, his wisdom is flame. Two sides of a coin, never quite the same.